Welcome to the new news, because the truth deserves to be told. Let's dive into the stories that shape our world. Today, we uncover the story of Eastern DRC, a land of beauty, conflict, and resilience. Let's dive in. The story of Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo is one of great beauty, deep struggles, and enduring hope. In this narration, we explore the history, the present challenges, and the dreams for a peaceful future in a land that is blessed with rich natural resources, yet burdened with conflict and hardship. Eastern DRC is known for its vast green forests, rolling hills, and abundant minerals such as diamonds, gold, copper, cobalt, tin, tantalum, lithium, and much more. These treasures of nature could be a source of prosperity, yet for many people living in the region, they have become a reason for endless fighting and sorrow. The land itself tells a tale that stretches back to the time of colonial rule, when foreign powers arrived with little regard for the local people or their traditions. During that era, the people were forced to work under harsh conditions while the wealth of the land was extracted and shipped away. The deep wounds left by colonial exploitation have not healed over the years and have left scars that continue to affect generations. When Eastern DRC finally gained independence, the hope for a better future was high. However, the dream of self-governance was quickly overshadowed by the struggles of building a new nation. The government that emerged was weak and unable to manage the vast, diverse country. Local leaders and groups began to fight for power, and soon, the battle for control over the rich mineral resources intensified. Instead of these resources becoming a blessing, they became a curse. Armed groups and militias, attracted by the promise of wealth, took up arms and fought fiercely over every mine and every piece of land, fueling a cycle of violence that has lasted for decades. Today, the everyday life of many in Eastern DRC is a story of hardship and survival. In villages and towns where laughter once echoed, the sounds of gunfire and explosions now dominate. Families are forced to leave their homes, carrying with them memories of a once peaceful life, now shattered by conflict. Entire communities have been uprooted, and the fear of violence has turned vibrant neighborhoods into ghostly reminders of what once was. People live in constant worry, not only for their safety, but also for basic needs like food, clean water, and shelter. With roads rendered dangerous and public services such as schools and hospitals often closed or severely limited, the struggle to secure daily necessities becomes a battle in itself. The roots of these troubles are many and complex, yet they can be explained in clear, simple terms. First is the issue of natural resources. Eastern DRC is rich in minerals that are in high demand across the world. Instead of bringing wealth to the communities, these resources have attracted greed and conflict. Armed groups fight over control of mines and quarries, and every gain in territory or resource comes with the cost of human suffering. Money earned from these minerals rarely reaches the people who live on the land. Instead, it fuels more violence and deepens the divide between those who have power and those who live in poverty. Another key factor is the long shadow of history. The exploitation during colonial times left a legacy of distrust and weakened institutions. When the country became independent, it struggled to build strong leadership that could unite its diverse people. Rivalries that had festered for generations flared up into violent conflicts as different groups vied for power. These old disputes, mixed with modern struggles over land and resources, have created a complicated web of conflict that is difficult to untangle. Poverty also plays a major role. Many families in Eastern DRC live under very challenging conditions, with little access to quality food, health care, or education. When there are few opportunities for a better life, some people, especially young men, see joining an armed group as the only way to earn money or gain respect. This choice, made out of desperation, only serves to perpetuate the cycle of violence, as each new recruit becomes a part of the ongoing conflict. The human cost of these events is immense and deeply felt by every community in Eastern DRC. Imagine waking up each day with the constant fear that your home might not be safe, that your children might be caught in the crossfire, or that you might not have enough food to feed your family. This is the harsh reality for many who live in the region. Families are torn apart by the loss of loved ones, and children grow up in an environment of fear rather than in the nurturing embrace of a stable home. The memories of violence, loss, and separation leave deep emotional scars that can last a lifetime, affecting not just individuals, but entire communities. Women and girls suffer in ways that are especially heartbreaking. They often find themselves vulnerable to violence and abuse in a place where the rule of law has broken down. The threat of harm is constant, and the lack of protection means that too many women endure untold suffering. Yet even in the face of these overwhelming challenges, there is an incredible strength in the hearts of the people. Women in particular continue to nurture their families, support their communities, and fight for a future that promises safety and respect. In Eastern DRC, the conflict is not a simple battle between two sides. It is a chaotic and deeply tangled struggle where different groups fight for different reasons. Some are fighting to survive, while others are fighting for power, territory, or wealth. The result is a region engulfed in violence, fear, and uncertainty, where the lines between self-defense, revenge, and exploitation have blurred beyond recognition. Some militias form to protect their communities. In certain areas, ethnic groups face targeted attacks, forcing them to organize their own armed self-defense units. For them, taking up weapons is not about gaining power, but about preventing their people from being wiped out. Entire villages are burned, families are slaughtered, and those who survive are often forced to flee. In such an environment, fear takes root, and retaliation becomes a way of life. One attack leads to another, and the cycle of violence continues. On the other side, powerful groups and warlords see an opportunity amid the chaos. They are not fighting for survival, but for wealth. Eastern DRC is rich in minerals, gold, coltan, and diamonds, resources that the world craves. These riches, instead of bringing prosperity, have become the fuel of war. Armed groups seize control of mines, forcing people to work under brutal conditions. They smuggle minerals out of the country, trading them for weapons and influence. Local communities see none of the benefits, only destruction, displacement, and suffering. Smugglers, corrupt officials, and private companies also play a role, making the conflict even harder to resolve. In the middle of it all are the civilians, the farmers, traders, mothers, and children who want nothing more than to live in peace. They are caught in the crossfire, forced to flee their homes time and time again. Some try to rebuild, but every time they plant their crops or reopen their businesses, another wave of violence forces them to start over. The humanitarian situation worsens, and aid workers struggle to reach those in need due to insecurity and constant attacks. This is why peace remains so elusive in Eastern DRC. With so many different interests at play, ethnic survival, control of resources, revenge killings, and foreign interference, resolving the conflict is like trying to untangle a knot that keeps tightening. Every time one problem seems close to being solved, another rises in its place. The region remains trapped in an endless storm where war is both a weapon and a business, and peace feels like a distant dream. Looking forward, there is a belief among many that peace is possible if everyone commits to change. For lasting peace to take root, the violence must end, and the deep divisions that have separated communities for generations need to be healed. This healing can only come through honest dialogue, fair sharing of the region's wealth, and a commitment to justice and equality for all. The rich resources of Eastern DRC must become a blessing that benefits everyone, rather than a curse that fuels conflict. For this to happen, both local leaders and the international community must work together to create systems of governance that are strong, fair, and transparent. The journey toward peace and recovery is long and challenging. It requires the support of not only the people who live in Eastern DRC, but also the attention and assistance of the world. The international community has a vital role to play in helping to rebuild the region. This support might come in the form of aid, development projects, and efforts to hold accountable those who profit from the conflict. But more than that, it requires a shared belief that every human life has value and that no one should have to live in constant fear. With genuine support, hope can grow, and one day the guns will fall silent and be replaced by the sounds of rebuilding and renewal.